Greetings and salutations. Tis I, Big Dan, Bro Dan, coming to you live from the 215, your comic book connoisseur, your Somali of sci-fi superheroes. Here to welcome you to the Blurred Bar. I'm not by myself,
Nope.
because if I was, it'd be concerning that I'm talking to other voices in my head. Joshua Hawkins, talk to him.
Boy, it's got personified. Ain't no other name but this. Go by it's your boy Jay Hall.
Call.
And in the middle, in the center of it
I'm just the
all,
producer.
the eye of the
That's it.
storm.
No, we can skip it. We're gonna do it live. No,
He's the
gonna do
eye
it
of the
live.
storm.
Yep.
He's the center.
WJJC.
He's the JJ to our WZ.
Is he? Is he really though? What does that mean?
He's in the center.
Okay.
I like
We
it.
let it happen.
Yeah.
So it's
He's the
stands.
JJ to our WZ.
Oh,
Make it
but
a
I
shirt.
like it.
Make it a shirt.
Highlight the center.
That's such
Yeah.
a Philly thing.
It is. Only
You
Philly
have
would
to
know.
be there. No, it's something only a specific generation.
Yeah,
That's
Because
very true.
true. Oh, man.
I'm just trying to
right now,
I just might be not
You
close
gotta move
enough.
up. All right, but
over here.
get over it.
I did it nicely.
I mean, that correct way of saying that would be
Actually.
actually.
Do you okay.
Yep. So there's no cocktail on the menu, but I made. Maybe it's wine. It's wine if it's alcoholic grape juice, right?
No.
I don't think so.
No. All
That's
right.
how it works.
It's everybody. It's not wine.
That's why.
It's grape juice and
I
gin.
made it with a rock.
They call me Jesus. Like, no, I'm not.
So it's not wine, is what you're saying? Fine.
No.
All right.
You just have spiked grape
Gin and
juice.
juice. You know?
Like you out here having,
Grape juice.
having
It's
a
the grape juice
communion
part,
rite.
right? Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, that's the cocktail. It's not wine, but
That's what your brain should be. Not wine. That's what your brain should be.
I'm with it.
You got a beverage now. Look
Yeah,
at
it's
that.
not
You heard it
not
first.
wine.
You're at the Blurred Bar.
Yeah.
It's not wine.
Just yeah. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. We can get like
It's just me on the bottle shrugging like
we can get like a JG Wetwith kind of like
yeah.
you know?
I
not.
need wine. No, it's not wine.
Exactly.
You know. All right. Cool.
See? These ideas.
Yeah.
There.
We did.
We got a weird question.
No.
No.
Unless
You got a
got
weird.
one.
I feel like you said you had one.
But I think we did it in another season.
Well, ask it again. There's
Oh,
new people
okay.
watching.
All right. If you had a quirk, what would it be?
What would it be?
What
What?
would it be? And why?
And why?
And why?
And why?
Hi.
To you.
Mm.
Do you get that? Would it be making wine?
not wine.
I wish I had a drink right now.
It's like shooting out my fingers. not wine.
It's like, "Ew, get your finger out my drink. But it's not wine.
It would have to be with the voice.
That's how he has to activate it.
It's like, clear the tubes.
It's not wine.
It would be questionable, but no. My quirk would probably be to fix the computer. Just fix them. Their
So,
base level.
The bull?
Who?
I don't like
He's a black bishop.
Bishop. No.
I mean,
Big
you're
like,
like
yeah.
you're like the Charmander of Bishop. Sure.
Yeah.
You're like printers, you're all about it. Like
Yeah.
HP, don't got nothing on me.
It's only
Come
to
here,
fix them.
brother.
Yeah. It's only just to fix them.
For those of you wondering what we're laughing at, it was a print.
That's a good one. But yeah, it would probably just be to just fix them. It's
Okay.
Just fix it.
never like enhance or like amp them up.
What would
It
you
is only just to bring them
Not even
back to-
ram. You
just
just
straight up
you gotta go to Staples. I'm sorry.
like restore them to factory level. Like,
Wow.
like you bought it brand new, I get you right back there. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's 7 years old. I'll get a peak 1992 Gateway running
that's
level.
rude. That's
What would you say to activate your?
I don't. I just put my hand on the computer and I'm like, your files are clean.
it is
So
finished.
is it like a king? Is it like a King Midas thing where like you don't control the activation as soon as you touch something electronic, you like reset it?
Yeah,
Because that was
Because
that would-
that's a nerf. Like,
it's a quirk if someone needs it.
That
done,
is not
right?
a feature. That is a bug.
It's a feature if somebody needs it.
You're
done.
like Rogue. You're like walking around with gloves.
Gloves
No,
on.
no.
I'm just like, I don't want to reset this again. Press my Xbox and I'm, no.
You Charmander Rogue Bishop.
Take a look at this. Oh, I don't have my gloves on.
Hey, I'm everybody's numbers.
Yeah. God forbid you got like a pacemaker.
Oh,
Default settings all over again.
That's
That'd be
wonderful.
crazy.
That's terrible.
It would be.
You're a
I didn't know they
villain.
had new settings.
You're a villain, dog. Like,
Villain origin story.
He's a villain. Like shows this mild mannered geek squad man
yeah.
out here just like
They'll never
He's
know
just
it's
like
me.
Yeah.
I'm just so tired. I just want to take over the world. Like, what?
Walking to Wall Street, like factory settings on all the servers.
That's crazy.
Escalated quickly.
It
It could
did.
be.
It
I didn't
did.
think I was a villain, but now.
But now you
Now I
are.
know.
It's not one. Like it's,
You're not. I'm not a villain.
Yeah.
Vote for Dan. He's not a villain.
I'm not a villain. It could be worse.
I feel like that's Agent 45's like tagline. I'm not. It's like, but bro, you are. You're like convicted.
But I'm not.
Not.
Like, are you racist? I'm not.
I'm not racist.
Define racism.
Before
we
like
go
an
any
orange
further-
puff smoke, and he like, till we meet again. Orange Skeletor. Like,
Orange Skeletor would be wonderful. That would be a wonderful thing to see.
oh my goodness.
He's a great guy. Wonderful
Oh my
guy.
goodness. That would be a dope
Till we meet
thing for Tomcat to draw.
We would want it.
Tomcat would be a great
Orange
artist to
Skeletor would be
have.
fire.
That would be hilarious.
But what would your quirk be?
My quirk, if we're going in the vein of like base level villainy,
You don't have to follow my example. You could be better. Right.
what would my quirk be? I feel like it would be something like I can perfectly drive with my knees or something like that.
Like okay, everybody can like balance the car, keep it in lane.
Yeah.
But you mean like making turns?
Like I've been able to make like a good enough turn. Like if it's a curve,
Yeah.
like on a highway,
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah. Sure.
On like the streets,
Uh-huh.
at a certain point, my hand does have to come.
Nah.
You know. Oh no, you know what my quirk would be? I'd probably just talk to cats.
So,
Okay.
wait, just cats though? Like no other.
It would be just cats. Maybe hawks if I'm like drunk.
What if that
Like birds of
activates your
prey.
that like you get another level of your power
Like-
when you consume alcohol?
Oh, then it's a wrap forever.
So then
The
Giga
drunken
Ram over
master.
here could be
Giga Ram?
yeah.
Giga Ram is crazy.
Giga Ram. I'm not a villain. Never fear. Giga Ram is here. I'm not.
I'm not down here.
You said you had a problem. I fixed it.
But it's broken. No,
You made it work.
it's
No.
reset.
Define mind broken.
Mind
Because you know what I see? A working computer.
Right.
You
I
know.
made it better. I made it better.
I know all the
one's
great
made
guys.
it better than I have. No one.
Who do you know who can factory reset a computer?
But yeah, it'd be like, yeah.
Gigaram is crazy.
That
I'm
was
sorry.
wild. You might have to make that a
Might be
tagline.
a
So
shirt.
yeah.
That's it. Might be an alter ego type
Gigaram,
thing.
yeah.
Gigaram.
I mean, you got to get the actor back.
That's a college thing.
I mean, but come on.
I understand you've known me since college.
That's a
but
deep cut because I don't know that.
yeah.
Oh,
Josh doesn't even. That's what I'm saying. That
this guy,
Uh-oh.
Gigaram.
Gigaram.
this
Did we give him
guy.
a nickname last time?
No.
No. Yeah, but it's escaping me.
Who is it?
I feel like you've like factory reset my brain. It never happened.
Every week, and there's a new nickname.
I
I'm
think
tired
with
of
the
it.
not line,
Yeah.
he like increases like range. He doesn't have to touch, right? It's just
I don't like this. I don't like what this has become.
You guys like Nebuchadnezzar.
It's just shenanigans this episode. There's nothing else happening. We are your distraction while you keep watching the election results. Don't go back over there. Just stay here. But this is. I know the name. I won't tell you. I will.
Back to the transcript. We can pull
What
it up.
the
my
the hidden
goodness.
episode that I've unlisted from
So
everybody?
Villainy.
Villainy. He
Absolute
reset.
villainy.
He's like, nevermore. Stripped from the internet. It's like, look, he's grown too strong.
Cyborg
I'm
out
just-
here.
I'm just-
Oh God! What was your?
What were we talking about?
Quirks?
What day is it?
Right?
Domain expansion. Forgetfulness.
Let's see. Let's see. Quirk from. I think I'd call it fight or flight,
Mm.
and it's the ability to like pivot in social settings, like being able to like navigate social settings. That's
You
fine.
can't do that now.
I'm just saying. I
Can't.
Right. To do
Just
it
saying. If it was a
masterfully.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm big
Like in any type of situation, like being able to, like, because you always know if you're in a situation that like you weren't thinking as clearly as you could have, and then after that you're like, Like,
so you get
so I
to
want-
those quick time events.
Those, like,
That's fair. That's cool.
That would make you like an empath on some level, borderline psychic, because you'd have to know
Yeah.
your audience, right? So like to know your audience is some level of like
That's true.
that's actually not bad.
Could
You're
be
not
a
a
villain.
hero.
I'm not a hero.
I feel like you would like find yourself in politics real fast.
Real fast.
Yeah, I guess so.
The
Like,
to the top of the ladder. They're like, you know what? He says good words.
he
says
says
good
words. Hey, you come here. Stand here. Stand right here.
Your
Say
name would be
these
like
words.
Spin City or something like that.
City.
Spin City. Spin City and Gigaland.
No.
What's yours though? We got-
I really don't have. I talk to cats and birds when I drink.
Liberal.
Like,
Talks to cats and birds when he drinks.
yeah.
Liberal. We're good.
Okay. All right.
The Liberator.
The
The Democrat. I don't
who's he-
know.
Who's he liberating?
I don't know.
Inebriated.
Inebriator.
I like inebriated. Oh, inebriated. Is that
We describe
Forgetfulness.
All
All right. That was
I
a
don't have
wonderful
any.
question. But we let us know in the chat what Josh's name should be for him being able to talk to cats.
And if you had a quirk, what would it
And
be?
if you had a quirk.
And what do you do to activate it?
Yeah.
I drink and I drink. That's literally my tagline.
Yeah.
But I don't really know things.
You just hear things. You just be talking to cats.
But that's a like huge network though.
That
Cats
can be.
Cats go
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
You're like the reverse falcon. Because Falcon can telepathically talk to birds
like
in the comics he can.
he actually has a power?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I didn't know.
Oh,
No, it's very real.
Research.
Updating Wikipedia. No, it's a very real thing. Okay. The way you shored me right now, I didn't like it.
Because
You're not a hero.
a bird. I know that.
Right,
He had
he
like
can
a
talk.
falcon.
Yeah, Red Wing, he can
I thought that was more like
telepathically.
technology.
Yeah, I
No.
thought that was just like him, like
Yeah.
just Redbird.
No,
That's
Red
not-
Wing. No.
Yeah.
I don't like this. I don't like where it's
That
going.
was just canary. Like,
Yeah.
I
Tweet, tweet.
don't know.
No, he can telepathically communicate with birds.
Interesting. Is that what he brought to the table? Like, as he said, "Hey guys,"
I feel like he fleshed it out later.
like they just found out. Like, it's
But
hey,
like, can he
who are you?
still do it? 'Cause that feels like that sounds
Even
like
as Captain
old
America,
school.
he still does. Yeah, he doesn't do it often because he's like, I don't
Like,
want to be known as the bird guy.
When he's
anymore.
first introduced, like he's just some like army vet, right?
No, in the MCU he is.
Yeah.
But he's
But in the
No,
comics, like who is he when he first introduced? Does he come off the bat like
wearing
Tweet.
he's a green guy. He's like in a green jumpsuit with wings, and he's been friends with Steve. He becomes fast friends with Steve Rogers, and they're like, "Hey, let's not make this a racial thing, guys." And he was like, "No, I'm gonna make it." He was like, "I'm the first black member on your team.
I mean, you gotta identify.
You got to do something." Would a cat talk to Josh though?
I think so.
I think so.
I feel
At
like
least
that
mine
answer.
too will.
Your cat's
Does he have treats? You would have to
Probably.
keep those on you.
yeah, you would. I mean, but
Maybe.
you would.
I'm not having treats on me.
Well, I mean, if you get like, so if I talk to my cats, right, and then if I find like the what's that cat on TikTok? Run them down.
The one that
that just fights
is
people.
a menace.
If I get him, I'm set. Like what?
Your network is
Like I'm like either get down, my homeboy Charlie, put you down.
that's not what I want. You are a villain now. Is what you're saying.
I'm not. No,
I feel like
are. You're running.
you already
iceberg lives.
kind of like aligned. with
nobody
cats.
said I was gonna do it for evil.
You already are aligned with cats though. Like,
That's
Are you
not
saying
evil.
cats evil?
I'm saying that they are not evil.
That doesn't count.
Self-serving. They're self-serving animals is what I would.
It's not position.
No, they also damage property to their amusement.
I don't think it's to their amusement.
Nah, it's today amusement.
That's not true.
I've had cats.
I have cats too.
I'm not saying your cats are bad cats. I'm saying I've had cats, okay? And I've had
You're
not
just
so
being-
great
You're
experiences.
just
with
being a
cats.
villain.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just
We
saying.
already know
You had a few bad
Gigaram.
experiences, and now you're generalizing.
I had
You're generalizing on election night? Wow.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
Well.
I'm just saying.
Hey. You.
Whoa. Hey,
Oh,
you.
you? Oh, okay. Now that's a problem. Okay. Moving on. What were we supposed to be talking about tonight?
I mean, speaking of governments and elections,
Mm.
there is a interesting topic that for some
Jillian
reason,
also has a cat, and I'm assuming you love your cat. Your cat loves your cat, or you believe your cat loves your cat.
Wow. That was gaslighting.
I mean, the cats don't talk. That's the whole point of having the quirk, right? Cats don't talk.
You
Somebody's
believe the
cats
kid.
do.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Sounds like you treated your cats wrong.
right?
I feel like I did what I was supposed to do with the cats:
That sounds weird.
feed them, clean them, and
What
and
cleaning do they need to be?
clean their litter box.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Because they clean them.
Yeah, I was involved in that.
You shouldn't.
Nah, I would've- that's not a thing.
I'm going outside trying to make it rain. This is you don't.
It's not inside. You have no power here.
No,
right?
no.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was an interesting topic that took over headlines, and it involved another furry creature.
The interwebs.
And it was a squirrel.
Peanut.
Peanut.
R.I.P.
the squirrel.
R.I.P. Very fortunate. However, however.
Move with caution. This is the internet.
Oh no, it's gonna be a strong however.
Okay, proceed.
It's amazing how people can rally behind the untimely end of a furry creature,
Mm-hmm.
but
And not
not
Haitians.
rally behind the untimely ends of people.
Have you been on the internet?
I've
'Cause
perused the internet.
Harambe
once.
is a great example of how, you know, it's the way the internet finds a distraction collectively to be like, this makes me so mad while actual injustices are happening. I will say, while it is very messed up for a government to intervene in any way, because I feel like they said it was 6 state parties, like what's the word that I'm looking for? Government official, like police, state police.
Oh yeah,
There was warrants, judges that got involved.
yeah.
Like,
At least like 2 or 3 judges, and
Yeah.
like yeah.
Like across different
yeah,
jurisdictions.
bunch of jurisdictions.
Oh,
They all like, and they raided his house
Yeah, I
for
know.
a squirrel
they raided his house because he had a squirrel and a raccoon.
and a raccoon.
Um,
I feel like the
kids.
raccoon was justified, but
Whoa.
that's crazy.
I mean,
Why?
borderline.
Gigaram.
the raccoon's justified to me.
Why?
Because they're nasty. They have caused me destruction in my past. In my past,
Just like the cat, apparently. Like,
Well, yeah.
you just
Nah,
had
nah,
a terrible
nah,
experience
yeah.
with animals.
I love dogs. I'm allergic to dogs. Though. I'm also allergic to cats, but I love dogs. I do. I've had 2, 3. Yeah,
Okay.
the last one was rough, but you know,
Oh,
it was
does
what
it
it
make them all bad?
no,
Interesting.
no, he had PTSD.
Interesting.
You know, it was a rough time. He went through
Oh
it.
my
Well,
goodness.
he had a good life while he's with us. Anyway,
R.I.P.
but the raccoons have caused like actual damage to a home I lived in at one point. So
Because they were from the wild, or were they domesticated?
they were wild raccoons.
This one was domesticated.
You know, until he chose true colors.
Like any animal?
I'm being facetious here. I'm being very facetious here. But anyway. But Peanut, I feel like for the government to get involved with an animal sanctuary,
Mhm.
where this man has done nothing but been very transparent about how he was caring for these animals online,
Mhm.
on lives, TikToks,
Mhm.
you know, you could see there's no evidence of mistreatment here.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody, y'all said it was a lady in Texas?
Yeah, I think it's somebody they located. She's somebody in tech, and then she deleted all of her socials
I would assume
when
so.
they found her.
Well, yeah. Yeah. It's the only thing you can do at that point.
Sure. Or you could just stay in your state.
Would you? I would assume you don't sit in, right? Like you won't be like, yeah, I'm the bad, mean person that reported. No, you run.
No, she
because that's what
definitely-
the internet
She celebrated it first. She was like, she
Oh.
bragged about it, then she deleted. That's how they found her.
does. So that's your name. But yeah, it's wild to be. This man's happiness with this animal makes me unhappy. From several states away,
Yeah.
at least tons. And you're like, I gotta shut this down.
Gosh, shit.
I mean,
So I think that's where I have some sympathy for this guy. Like he's had the squirrel for 7 years.
I mean, yeah, it's
The squirrel wasn't like near death.
no.
Then the government comes and takes it because they believe there's mistreatment involved. And then they're like, we got the squirrel on our hands.
What are
What do we do? We can't care for no squirrel. What are we gonna do? Just like, so I find that part being wild. They're like, we should probably take it to an animal sanctuary. And the guy's
You mean
like,
like the one you just hey?
right.
Like this one back here.
Yeah, no, I think I do. It is wild what happened. I think what then happened after that, like the politicization of it, was like, yo, that's come on,
I mean,
guys.
that's the next leap when
When it's
the
an election
government
year.
gets in. But the government got involved. It wasn't like
I think it's because it's an
PETA
election
showed.
year.
It wasn't like PETA showed up and took the squirrel away. The government got involved. So yeah, it would be a political issue, in my opinion.
I think it's 'cause
However,
it's an election year.
you can't make it a Democratic or Republican thing because a judge signed off on your warrant.
Well, you can. It just depends on which party that you're on.
Right, and then you can flip it. Gigaram. Factory reset. But yeah, I find that the internet's going to internet. I feel like we said that before in regards to Cynthia Erivo with, the outburst. That's the only way I can classify it. But the internet, they will flip it however which way they want for the sake of, views, likes, comments.
Discourse.
Yeah. But in the grand scheme of the world, yes, it's just a squirrel. But it's also this man's squirrel that he won. He was getting financial compensation for through, being an influencer with the squirrel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was also funding the animal sanctuary. It has a multitude of. So there's enough sympathy in me to provide to him to be like, hey, that sucks.
Sure.
The rest of it, what are you gonna do?
Just gonna look at it and be like, damn, wish black people got that same attention.
Or Palestinians, or the Congo.
Yeah. I mean,
There's so many other things.
there.
But I think that
in the hierarchy.
But I think that's the
like,
biggest thing. Like there are so many other things that when you're hearing about like a squirrel get like
put down,
euthanized.
Well, a squirrel getting like is semi, if not national, like coverage.
Oh, this is national, not global. No, Team Z. The internet.
Yeah,
I mean, he had a large following.
it's-
he had a large
it's-
following as well.
Yeah,
So
it's wild and it's angry to see that. Like, it shows you that humanity has the ability to rally and show empathy.
but
if
I
not sympathy
also,
for
I
a
would
cause.
also say, largely in part to trolls and people who have free time,
Yeah.
this is something you can give energy to and not feel the weight of it. Right? Anything else where there's, national or global crisis and, genocide, all these other things happening, that doesn't leave you the moment you start talking about it. That will stay with you if you mean it. Will stay with you perpetually through conversation and your day to day. This squirrel, people will be like, "Let me hop in these comments real quick, say something real reckless, and go back to work." There's not much, unless you enjoy being messy. There's not much that will force you to stay consistent in this, because next week it won't be a squirrel. It'll be another Mudang, another baby giraffe, something. There'll be something else, right? So
Sure.
that's why I don't think it falls into the same category. And you can only hate people so much about this because internets have distractions. It's just what it is. And TikTok is 7 seconds away from giving you the next thing that you're going to be obsessed with for 24 hours. So, RIP to the squirrel, man. That's all I can tell you. Yeah. But in the vein of being political, we wanted to talk about some of our favorite pieces of media and how, if you've heard the saying before, I wish they didn't make this political, which I feel like that gets said a lot now in 2024. We won't go back in time.
We're supposed to be saying things that we wish weren't political.
No. We're just talking about stuff that are very much like the cultural zeitgeist of anime, comic books, movies, anything. These things at the root are political, and
the backlash that they've gotten for being,
or even the blind eye that gets turned to them because,
like, are you saying like X-Men,
right,
example,
right, like there's a fan base that will be like, I love X-Men until they got political, and then we're like, hey, friend, guess what?
I got some news for you.
You know, it'd be really crazy to find out that Stan Lee actually created them out of like political motivation, right?
Right.
So I think there's a lot of cultural media and pop culture in general that has been political from the start, and I feel like we should just talk about it. Why not? And you're waiting for the results of another 4-year election. You got anything on mind? You got anything? Because I got stuff. Because I be reading comics.
The only thing that comes to mind, probably because of the date, is V for Vendetta.
Oh,
Um,
remember the 5th of November.
and I actually saw a clip today. I think it was on like YouTube Shorts or something like that,
Mhm.
where he's like explaining like what he's about to do or whatever. Like I'm gonna like it's the thing where he's like people shouldn't fear their governments, governments should fear their people.
Mhm.
And then she's like, so that's why you're gonna blow up a building. He was like, well, a building represents a symbol, and like even the act of blowing it up represents like something else. And I was like, ooh, that sounds like domestic terrorists. I was like, I feel like we were voting for you at some point, and now I hear it. I'm
Perspective
Ah.
is what, right? Like, as long as it's not home base, you be like, they're freedom fighters, right? But the
No.
moment it's freedom, once it's in house, because of perspective, this is why I live very much in the centralist worldview a lot, because from either side of it, you won't see it. So I feel like V for Vendetta is very much one of those things where it's controversial because if you blow up a building that has been a symbol of oppression for so long,
Also, I think that's key. Like context, right? Is
Right.
key.
Context is important.
but it's
Very
also,
important.
from the side of the oppressor, it's a symbol of victory, right? And a symbol of freedom, and a symbol of inspiration and law and order. So from either side, you could be like,
Are you saying that there are bad people on both sides?
no, 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 no. You know what I didn't say? You know what I didn't say?
Well, you jumped in a little.
You know, you know what I didn't say?
Like
That
Mario
part.
Kart, like,
And I'm
you
right. You already
like,
had.
you're like doing this.
You had R1, and you was just going like this. I'm ready. No,
I was waiting.
from obviously the perspective of someone who has been very much a marginalized group of people, I see.
Which group?
Just kidding.
How do you identify? Your pronoun.
But in those contexts of perception, she makes a point of, oh, you just a domestic terrorist, right? While he's like, no, I'm literally fighting for the freedom. And it's crazy because the call is coming from inside the house, right? He was a citizen of that same nation.
Yeah.
However, he's like, they experimented on me, and I want to tear this down. And tear it down is what he did.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Outside of those conversations, largely, this man reads comics, y'all. It feels very much like that meme. Like, hey, yo, this nigga reads comics.
Don't blast the cafeteria.
Yeah, but I think V for Vendetta is obviously very apropos, obviously because of the date, but it's also framed in a very post-apocalyptic, almost dystopian.
It's probably more dystopian than post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Dystopian was more dystopian is what I meant. So, and it's a post-war story, all other things, and I think while you can draw a correlation to the real world, it's also sensationalized because there's a very intended position that the writer is taking on this. Tear it down. So, I guess we just continue to talk about how you feel about V for Vendetta.
I mean, just from its cinematic masterpiece.
It's a good time.
It's a good time, and I mean, not
It's a
once
long
did
time though.
It is
I
a long
haven't
time.
rewatched it in ages.
It's been a while.
I put it on every once in a while.
But I mean, because I only watched it once, I think, and I saw bits and pieces when it was on like FX.
Because Hugo Weaving and Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman.
And
That's
Hugo
who it
Weaving.
is. I was like thinking.
I
Kirsten
never once
Dunst?
thought. I never once thought this guy is in the film. I didn't. And like I like dissecting plots. I like kind of like guessing what's going to happen in the end kind of thing. And I didn't do that with V for Vendetta. Like, and maybe it is because I am from, again, like you said, a marginalized group of people. But
Yeah, man, I know what you mean.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about, brother.
That guy didn't know what I'm talking This guy.
Words I never said. Running back. I never said.
We
never
can't.
said any of that.
This man.
Running back. I never said that.
But yeah, no. I mean, it's when you get into stories like that, you and again, everything kind of plays. It takes from the real world, right? Like, what is it? What's the phrase?
Art, right?
It's like an infinite loop.
Feedback.
But I feel like, in today's climate, with how you said like dystopian, like everything feels kind of dystopian with people reacting to like a squirrel.
Yeah.
Versus people being slaughtered by the hundreds and thousands. And everybody's just like, cool, let me go get this Starbucks drink. And it's like, make it make sense. I relate, and I see I don't remember his like name, but V. I see V's point of view in the movie.
Yeah. And I think even in the way that they portray the media, right?
Yeah.
It's all the silly nonsense shows.
Yep.
Like, let's keep them subdued with entertainment while the real puppetry happens in the back.
It's a digital lobotomy.
Yeah.
Almost. Like, that's pretty much kind of how it is. And that's in any type of like oppressor versus oppressed situation, you have whatever elements at that time, be it a newspaper, be it word of mouth, be it digital media.
Yeah.
You use these tools to, lobotomize your people.
Yeah.
Right? Because if a building is the symbol of a tyrannical government and the government should fear its people, well, if you control them, if you pacify them, then
they don't rise up.
You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to fear anything because you're like, hey,
A Bug's Life.
Yes.
A Bug's Life is a good example.
That was taken away. That's
I just remember that being the thing the grasshopper said.
Oh, the girls watch that movie on a regular basis.
Oh.
Then they don't get none of that.
You're raising new anarchists.
It's great. Rue specifically. Let's be honest.
In all honesty, we know who it is.
Like, we know who it is. Like, that fence in the back is going to be taken down. I like to participate.
And there's a gang in like 20 years called the Black Ants. It's like,
participate in your fun. But Bug's Life is a good one because that's, if you're not paying attention, you miss it. You just think, and you're like, pay attention. Pay close attention to what Kevin Spacey, the grasshopper, is saying.
He's like, did that hurt? No. That's just one day.
Right. If one is up, they all will. I'm like, hey, you talking real fast here. We don't put him on the villain list often. And
the
grasshopper? Hopper should be on the villain list.
he's the antagonist.
When was he not?
No, I'm saying, like, when we did the last year, when we did the villain list,
the villain list.
Hopper should have been at the top of that list.
God.
'Cause
Not top, but
no,
like,
I mean,
I feel like top 5.
top 5.
who'd he kill? I don't remember the movie. I'm seriously asking.
He definitely crushed a lot of his own people. The ones who were like, I don't want to fight no more. He was like, well, the rest of us are going. You stay here, clean this up.
Pretty much. We're assuming, because it's a kid's story, right?
There's zero bodies.
But we're assuming that there were some people that disappeared.
He was about to switch flick too. Like he was very mentally prepared. He had the tool in his head.
Sure, but didn't do it.
The bird showed up. Hello, girls.
Yeah.
You know, I've watched the movie too much.
I was about to
Well,
say
yeah.
you like your memory's fresher than mine.
Yeah, but yeah, Bug's Life is wild. That's a wild one for real, for real.
I would say another good one. I mean, this is probably one of your more favorites. Is Full Metal.
Oh,
That's-
Brotherhood.
yeah.
Well,
That's-
Alchemist and like regular and Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, government.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, if the government's involved, it's political at that point.
Yeah.
The moment you say you're a government organization, political. it's the boys. It's X-Men. It's. I mean, even Superman was intended to be political.
What's so?
No, before that. So even he was the first symbol in regards to the everyman during the Great Depression. Right? He was just supposed to be better than every man, the general guy. Right? He could leap a building in a single bound.
It's kind of hard to do that when you're hungry.
Right, faster than a speeding train.
Just Captain saving me.
So the idea was that America made you a superior man than the rest of the world.
It's like some.
Hey, hey.
I'm just,
I mean,
Merc.
the opening, issue number 1 of Captain America is him literally punching Hitler. So
man, it's
The
very
comic books kind of are birthed out of the idea of political.
of course.
Yeah, some of it's propaganda, and then others are like out of protest, but most of it was propaganda.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
how else would you get paid? The government was like, "Hey, draw this story for us."
Exactly.
Walt Disney was like, I'll do these," but then he did something from the other side, and you're like,
Hey, man.
You're like, money is money, man. Like, I'm gonna
Right.
tell
he's
you.
like, "I'm trying."
I'm pick sides.
You know, there are the bad people on both sides. And I have nothing to do with that. All I do is draw pictures.
All I do is drop it. That's all I do.
Yeah.
I think I guess my question to pose to the audience, guys, is at what point do you think, or when is it like, this again?
Like that it's political.
Yeah, like because like sometimes Black Panther, it's like, oh, that was a great show, and like you don't even like you kind of think about the political aspects of it all, but then it's not like a Bug's Life. It's like, oh, that was like, oh wow, that was actually a pretty true thing, right? And I guess maybe you guys aren't the target audience to ask questions of like when you don't want Politico in your videos, you know?
Oh, well, first I want to respond to the comment. Just saw the Black Panther comic in the back. Cool. Is it your favorite issue, or is it sentimental? It's one of my favorites, but it was also just a frame Black Panther comic. I was like, I'm gonna buy it, and I bought it, and it's hanging up there now.
I bought it and I like it.
But
I like shit and I won't shit.
in regards to your question, I think when it's virtue signaling in a way that's overt and not subvert, it's
Provide an example.
Or describe virtue signaling.
where it's
Subvert.
but in the way that they want you to, the theme that they're pushing, right? Regardless of whatever political perspective it is, they want you to be like, this is the good guy. You see it in
In the US war movie.
sure, but like Call of Duty, right?
Oh.
You're always the good. You're always playing for the good guy. It sometimes it gets a little gray, but it's very much like you're the good guy.
You heard yourself, right?
Yeah,
I heard it.
You meant it.
no, yeah.
Okay.
Not me.
Right. Modern Warfare 2, that one scene, right? Where there's the no Russian scene. Where you're playing as the playable character, you do the awful scene in No Russian where you go to an airport.
Oh, the airport.
The airport scene.
Oh,
Right.
snap.
So that's what I'm saying. Like they
I
like
felt
try to,
icky
yeah.
after that. I was like, I don't like
They prompt you up front. They're like, hey, this has a scene. You can
Have
opt
you
out
played
of
it?
it.
I
Okay.
don't know what
Okay,
you
so
guys
basically,
talking
you walk into you and a group of your friends,
about.
maybe friends, maybe they're buddies. I don't know, but y'all go into an airport
And unload a bunch of
and
bullets.
unalive a lot of people, machinery, everything.
Whoa.
And they just and it's one of the weirdest scenes, one of the most like shocking scenes in Call of Duty video games. And so
That's what they talked about on the internet?
it was very much talked about. It's
I mean,
to this day.
aside from like, again, more of like the what's the word I'm looking for?
Red Pip?
The no
America
no,
propaganda.
yeah, well, yes, it is propaganda, but the dehumanization of like black and brown people.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
throughout all
this
the Call
one
of
was
Duties.
definitely Russian.
Yeah,
Like, the
yeah.
Russians were the bad guys.
So yeah,
But this, Call of Duty is one of those things where it's very overt
Mm-hmm.
that like USA, we the good guy.
Mhm.
As long as you're firing, not keep that R trigger held down because you're the good guy. And I think being more subversive in the way that you're telling a story and letting people form their own opinion,
Mhm.
like the boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because none of them are wholly good.
Sure.
There's no one person that has done something or has stayed the path enough for you to be like, I'm fully aligned with this character.
Mother's
Yeah.
Milk?
No, he's got bodies. He's
But wasn't that when he was like in active duty?
no, I'm talking about in the comics,
Oh, I'm talking about the show though.
right? I mean, they need a straight man, like the
But
guy.
I feel like given his past, he had to become that man. Like he's not just that. He doesn't like if Dan were to reset him, that would still be like his
Yeah.
base would be like I'm going to take you out,
Right,
like without hesitation.
and even he is often like, I'm gonna chill and let Butcher do what he wants because it has results, right? That's still you complicit.
Mm.
I don't want to be that guy either. Being in the room where you're like, oh, he did a really filthy thing, and I didn't go, hey man, that's enough. You kind of just like, oh, dang it, Butcher, you did it again. Oh, well, on to the next one, right? So I think that's where you can get the audience to formulate their own opinion. It's something I appreciate it more versus, like I said, Call of Duty is a really good example. It's like, USA, USA, we're always the good guys. We don't do nothing bad, y'all. We fine over here. So,
What about with what you said, the factory reset of Mother's Milk?
Mm-hmm.
But like, isn't growth something that should be taken into account?
and that's what I said. It's not always they're not wholly bad. But they're also not wholly good.
Interesting. Doesn't sound like you guys are taking this into
I am. 'Cause I'm talking about the boys as a comic book is already complete. So I've seen the whole character growth and where they start and where they finish. You still are like, it's a little gray along the way. There's not a black and white thing of like these are the good guys. They're just better than the worst guys, right? And so how blind can you really be when they're just better than the worst, but not actually good? If I'm bugging, tell me I'm bugging. And, I feel like
It makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it does leave it open versus just you having an like just positions A and B.
right, like
Like-
Superman or Batman's position of like I don't kill. That's it, right? Like you don't see him deviate from that. He'll maim the heck out of you, but you don't get
hefty medical bill.
right. You trying to figure out You trying to figure out why your ankle is touching your ear, and he's talking about now talk, but he's not going to kill you. You know his line. I feel like with characters like in the boys, it's not that black and
It's a
white.
toss up.
Yeah,
It's a toss up.
and it's to speak to the fact that like power corrupts. What's the word? What's the phrase?
Power corrupts something
Yeah,
all the time or
all the
something like
time.
that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I can appreciate more of a subtext
Mm-hmm.
versus root for this guy because he's good. He's the good guy because we want you to think he's the good guy. So, and That's where I kind of draw the line with. This is too much politics in my soup, right? Like,
Mm,
uh,
how overt it is.
yeah.
Gotcha. That's cool.
What about for you? I'm sorry, this took
No, it's okay.
a whiny.
It's all right.
It's
okay, buddy.
All right.
It's all right. There you go. You're there.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? Sorry, go ahead.
What was the question?
I mean, I
When
kinda
is
asked
enough
you
too
both
much?
that.
Yeah, when is enough too much politics in your soup?
I mean, I, I would prefer I guess I would prefer a storyline of like kind of like the boys kind of leaving character development and things like that up. Like it's very subjective.
Mhm.
Um, I think growing up watching, I mean, just like I don't know, if I'm speaking for everybody in the room, but like growing up, I watched a lot of war movies, right? But
Mm.
in my adult life, I'm learning the true like history behind
Mm,
all of these quote unquote wars, or now that I've categorized them as like, if terroristic is a word or can be a word, uh, or terrorist based operations
Mm.
conducted by the U.S. on other countries, the
mm,
global South,
Mm.
mhm,
the global South and the East. So it was presented to me that, oh, we are always the good guys.
mhm.
No other narrative
Well, that's the
needs to be said,
nationalist view.
right?
I would assume that's normally the case for any country,
Sure,
at least the victors, right?
but not when you talk
They
exactly.
make the history books,
Like,
you know.
but even for the ones that they tell us that we didn't win, right? There's
Mm,
still very much a, oh, well, we went in there, we did our thing though, like that, like that's like the story. It's like, no, you didn't.
Right.
No, no, you didn't. You definitely didn't. But the story is still framed as, oh, the U.S. is the good guys. Like we were the good guys. We couldn't spread democracy in this place. So, so
You know what? I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna just leave.
Hey,
doesn't seem to be working
great
out
time.
here.
It's a great time. Sorry, we made a little mess, but
But
we're gonna go.
you guys got it, and then you just dip out. But yeah,
And
so
somebody's like, my leg.
yeah, and it's like, oh, that you should get that looked at. I'll be back. Maybe not. It's just like that's
I'm gonna go get help.
well, yeah,
Yeah, I feel you.
that's kind of that's what I grew up with, and then that's kind of what I've been overriding
Mhm.
in my like later of my life thus far.
Yeah, I
Um, and that's with video games, that's with like anime, um that's with like cinema.
yeah.
It's kind of just very much it was like a one-sided thing. So now when I see storylines like that, I'm like, like give it a rest. Like we're old enough to know
But
better.
is that not the story that persists to be told? Right. The the battle versus good and evil, right? And good, regardless of its means, as long as good won, then that's the stories that should be told.
But I feel like
And
the goalpost on what is good continues to move, even change stadiums.
oh well,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a chopper that comes and picks it up and takes it away. Where is it going? Oh, we're putting it in a good place.
it's very
Like,
much and to lighten just to like brighten the picture that you're painting is just like it's very much Squidward watching SpongeBob and Patrick playing outside. And it's just like I don't like their fun. I'm gonna shut that down. And I feel like that's kind of not just America, but like the large global powers being like, I see what you're doing over there.
mhm.
You got a lot of oil. It'd be a shame if someone had to take that from you.
Get that
You
up
know what? I'm
off
gonna
you.
hold that for you so that no bullies come around
Right.
and take that from
And
you.
take that from you. And if you want to use it, just ask me first.
Right,
That's
right.
all. Just run it by me. That's fine. Just
yeah. So I feel what you're saying. I think it's just I want to bring it back to just like the media for this really political conversation, but we already hear. Uh, what else is political that I feel like people love, but no one acknowledges political?
People don't want to acknowledge this
Because I know what when you talked about like overt stuff, Wally is one of those movies that I love to watch, but it's so overt about like the Earth is dying, y'all. Clean up.
I mean, yeah, that's the message, right? Is that
Wally is very much like in your face about like, hey yo, can y'all not leave y'all trash on the ground?
I'm sure. Sure.
And then it's also like, hey, y'all really like looking at y'all phones. What if we had a floating couch? Huh? Delivered your food right. Bone density, don't need it. Stand on those legs?
Why? For what? When you have a ship that floats. I mean, the same thing as what the Lorax. Right?
Yeah,
the Lorax,
Lorax is so over.
the Lorax. Yeah, the Lorax is overt, but it's overt in a good way. I feel
Yeah.
like it's
Horton Hears a Who is also like that.
Horton. Oh.
Whoa! No, but I know what you're quoting, but that's the movie. Was
No,
not that.
no, the movie was not that. He did not hear domestic
Yeah.
violence there. But yeah, I don't remember Horton Hears a Who.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I just feel like there's so much political stuff, and if you don't even have to look that hard anymore to see it.
I think
It's definitely coded into a lot of what we watch and has been.
Sure. I mean, agendas, certain agendas you'll see like being pushed in certain media, but yeah, like you don't have to go far. You don't have to look hard, because there are themes that again your writing is being influenced by the time that you're in, right?
Yeah.
And as much as you want to put a story in the future, there's precedent. Precedent will always spill into the story, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I guess we can wrap this one part up. Because I feel like it's a dark turn. But
did it, or was it just real?
it's just real. And
just
I think real life is just
real.
what it is.
wow.
Real. We still got some time to
We
kill
decided
for a
to
little
keep
bit.
it real.
Keep it
When
real.
keeping it real goes wrong.
Side note, who's your favorite Dragon Ball character that isn't one of the Z fighters, including Vegeta? Like I would
So
call
Vegeta is a
is he a Z fighter?
He's a Z fighter
I
now.
guess he is.
He's
clearly
He's a Gigaram.
I'm just curious.
Favorite Dragon Ball Z character that's not a Z fighter?
Favorite
There's
Dragon Ball
very
character
few.
Or Dragon Ball?
Dragon Ball. That's not a Z fighter.
Oh man.
I'll go first. Bardock. I would have loved to
Bardock?
see Bardock really go off, like survive.
was
One
Goku's dad?
survive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Goku's dad.
I would have loved to have seen him survive and like really go off. It's a what if story for me.
They
That
should do
Bardock.
it. I mean, they could. Didn't they?
They
Didn't
could.
they do? Wasn't there something where he like
I think it's the Xeno first.
he would like Super Saiyan or something like that?
He does go Super Saiyan in the movie.
in the
Yeah.
movie. Okay.
In that one movie.
Where it's like, isn't there like time travel
Yeah.
involved in that?
No,
No.
no, it's just the prequel to
Oh.
explaining what happened to like the Saiyan planet.
Oh. Gotcha.
No, Bardock was one of my like standout favorites because he goes Super Saiyan at the end.
And
But
then
they still lose. So Frieza, I think Frieza already dips, so Frieza doesn't get to see Bardock go Super Saiyan.
that's why he doesn't
Yeah.
see.
Right.
He doesn't know what a Super Saiyan is.
Yeah.
Goku.
Yeah,
Gotcha. I'm gonna say Grandpa Gohan.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was a good dude.
he was.
He took an orphan
Yeah,
and raised him.
and then
But, I mean, we're not gonna.
da da da. The government showed up and took the squirrel.
Oh no!
Does that boy have a tail? We're gonna need you to come with us. Check him for rabies. What?
Like, I mean, what? Grandpa Gohan destroys the whole moon, right?
I think so.
He
Does
does.
he?
Like,
Yeah.
he affects the whole planet
He
Earth.
he was like, I saw what this thing does to this kid. I'm cutting his tail. I'm blowing the moon. That's it.
That sounds excessive.
Yeah, but he had to do it because
This guy?
Yeah. He's the guy who. I mean, he taught Goku
everything.
all his base. Like,
Sure.
all the
Base
base Goku was a menace in Dragon Ball. Grandpa Gohan is the reason.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I gotta
You know
rewatch
what's-
Dragon Ball or something like that.
It might be hard to watch now.
I don't know.
I don't think Dragon Ball holds at
No?
all
That's a fair assessment.
because Dragon Ball Z barely holds. Like, if you leave it in the nostalgia realm,
Sure.
pristine. Do not go back and watch it thinking.
I
you're
feel like if somebody were to seamlessly string every episode together, cut out all the commercial breaks, all the feed in and outs, I feel like it'd be
absolutely not.
no, you don't think so?
No, especially that saying.
What's wrong with saying that?
The only time it gets interesting is the fights with Raditz.
Well, that's Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Oh, you got Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I mean you have
It's the world tournament, right?
right.
Yamcha is cool for like
Wolfang and Fisting it out here.
he's cool. Piccolo goes Demon King
Mm-hmm.
is a part of that. Yeah, there's other stuff that
Got the Red Ribbon Army.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, there's story and plot and
Right. Come on.
yeah.
Don't Rick and Morty face me like.
That's exactly what that was.
Oh, like
can't do. Did you pick? I mean, before we wrap this up, everybody on their merry way.
Non-Z fighter favorite. Is it the Supreme guy? The cat with the walking stick?
Oh, Corn?
Corn.
The Sensu Bean?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's the one at the mid level of the lookout of
Maybe.
Kame's lookout.
Yeah.
Which whose lookout was it before?
I don't know.
I think he's always been there.
It's been Kami for a while, at least while Goku's been alive.
Has it?
Yeah.
Wasn't Kame just?
No, because Kami dies in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, but Kame isn't he in the Namekian? No, am I thinking of the same person?
You thinking about Ding Dong?
No, Kame
Kami is also Namekian.
but he is the other half of King Piccolo. Piccolo and Kami are the same. They're two halves of a whole. They split
Yeah.
from King Piccolo when Goku defeats them.
Yes.
So whose lookout was it before that happened? Somebody else lived there.
That's a Google question. Hey, find out the answer for us. Get back to us. As we always like to say here, y'all have a blessed night. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, man.
Yeah.
You know, we just out here having a good time.
Yep.
You could be in the comments having a good time with us. Y'all have a blessed night. Peace.